in the next condition, we will be discussing on this background size property right over here. So this is the background size property, and you can see that this are the classes. This is the BG auto class, which sets the background size to auto. BG cover, that means it will be covering up the whole of this container, and BG contain, it will be containing this background size right over here. It will be having some kind of contain properties into your background position. So let's have a check on it. In the first case, the BG auto will be used to display the background image at its default size. That means the same default size with which the image is practically being created, it will be used into your project, into your container. So if we get back to our project, and in the very first case we are removing them all, and we are using this BG no repeat, and this is the BG left button. So for an instance, we are just keeping it intact as it is. Press Ctrl S, get back to your project and reload, and you can see this will be the result. In the next case, we will be using this individual property of BG auto. So we are getting back to our project and we are mentioning it as BG auto. There it goes, reload, and you can see that there's practically no change because this is the default background image property with which it was created into our project. There it goes. This is the foxsmall.png, and you can see that the default dimension was 300 pixels by 200 pixels, 300 pixels by width and 200 pixels by height. That is why this is the same default dimension that will be maintained into our present project. This is the first case. But now if we wish to make it cover up this whole particular container, then all we need to do, instead of BG auto, we will be using this individual class of BG cover. Press Ctrl S, get back to your project and reload, and now we can see that this individual image is practically covering up this whole container width, and even this image size is larger enough, is broader enough than the width and height. That means the dimension of this individual container, then it will be auto resized to fit into that particular container. As an instance, for say we are changing this fox small class, fox small source, we are not using this particular file of fox small. Instead we are using this foxbig.png file over here. There it goes. This is the foxbig.png, which has a dimension of 1280 pixels by 640 pixels. Now if we get back to our project and reload, we can see that this image size is auto scaled and sized into to fit into your container again. In the next case, instead of this particular BG cover, we will be now using a definite BG contain class here, or what it was, cover contain, BG contain. Definitely press Ctrl S, get back to your project and reload, and you can see that your image is now cropped into your container width, and it is now fitting as a whole into your project properly. It is now fitting to your container width properly. So each and every of these background properties of those classes, those been defined over here, could have been used into our project to create something bigger, to create something better, and we don't have to take care of all those CSS properties into our main for say style.css that we had created earlier. We may use these individual layout classes into our project, and we may use tailwind CSS anytime to enhance the display of our sites without much effort, as all of them had been defined previously into somewhere else. So that's it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we are about to learn about some extra classes right over here, and we will be working on with these layout classes the rest of those things that we had mentioned earlier, like this float property or all of these properties. Those are practically important to be discussed into. So stay tuned. Thank you.